All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the NASCAR Nuts and Bolts Podcast. We are coming at you, episode number 17. And this week, I'm your host, Gene, at Flag to Flag NASCAR. With me, I have my boy Thomas at TB Racing 3, and my other boy Kaleb at Kaleb Dunstan 9. What do you got going on, fellas?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Glad to see you back. Glad to have you back, and just looking forward to Dover this upcoming weekend. Hopefully the rain stays away, and hopefully we make it up to Delaware this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thomas, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Just hanging out. This is my last week of I guess class. I finish up my last semester this week, so I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty cool, and I graduate next week, so that's cool. But overall, man, I'm looking forward to Dover. It's gonna be a fun experience, and I'm looking forward to heading up to Delaware with you guys.
Yeah, Thomas, I'd actually peeped that as well. It's like you go to Dover this Sunday, and then at the week after you graduate. So I was like, that was pretty cool. You get to do a race and then graduate. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, man. There's some big stuff going on in the N&B pod world. I tell you, boys, I hated missing last weekend's episode, but there's two things that might make me miss work. I mean, might make me miss the N&B pod, and that's work if something pops up there. But otherwise, the second one's going to be laying in the ER, and that's where I was last Monday, man. I had a kidney stone hit me for those that are listening and had that experience. This is my third one, so it wasn't nothing new. I had gotten two prior, and the pain on this one was so bad, man. I had to take it to the ER on that one, and then I am coming at you today straight from the operating room this morning to get that taken care of, man. So I'm heavily medicated. If I'm talking loud, it's because I might be doped up a little bit here, but I'm just super happy to be upright and be here with you boys. So yeah, just my advice to you is lay off the soda every now and again. Don't be like me.
It's funny you say that because we love a good Coke, a good Coca-Cola every now and then. So that's I hate to hear that. I really do. But we're glad to have you back. Glad to have you back for the episode tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What y'all got for the intro, man? Anybody got anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off by saying I went and took along and strung along and went and witnessed the first race of the season at Bowman Gray Stadium this weekend under NASCAR operations. And I want to say NASCAR kind of held to their word and was like, hey, we're not gonna touch anything. And to be fair, they didn't, but it's some things they did change. You did notice some changes, like Thomas, I think you're gonna like this as well. They added time limits to certain races now. So if it goes over the time limit, that's it. No more strung along 30 after 30, 3 after 3, back to back to back caution. So I really enjoyed that. But the one thing I wish they would have added the time limit on was a 200 lap sportsman race. Thomas, I pulled one out of your book, man, and what a snooze fest it was. It was a follow to Burt Myers type modified race. Don't get me wrong, I love modifieds and open wheel modifieds and those guys and what they do, but oh my goodness, 200 lap modified race, and then I think by 40 minutes we were still 80 laps in, so it's kind of brutal. But no, I just wanted to hit on that, and the caution laps did count for that modified race, so it kind of helped a little bit. But other than that, I don't see any other significant changes with NASCAR. I kind of hope they kind of keep it the way it is. And I kind of do think if I was NASCAR, I would maybe change that little victory lane front stretch interview. But I get, tradition and it's the history of Bowman Gray. But I would like to see that kind of on the sidelines in the pits somehow. And so we can get this next race going. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. All in all, packed house. Really, really, I don't think it was a seat left in that stadium, man. As I said, and as you saw on social media, I said standing room only. So definitely a fun night, and luckily it won't too hot, and the fans really enjoyed it.
Thomas, you've been there before. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I went there once last year, and I had a blast. So it's I'm glad to hear that NASCAR is keeping it the same and not changing too much, because it would make a lot of people mad if they went in there and started changing a bunch of stuff.
Man, yeah, people, those people we talk about, they were already on the fence about it before they even got there. So before they even went through the gate. So that was one of those you kind of have to see for yourself. But I will say, I don't know if NASCAR went in and put a little resin down on the outside lane, but the outside lane was very raceable with the sportsman cars and the modified, well, some of the modified cars. But yeah, the outside lane was really raceable. It's a lot of grip out there on the outside lane, and some cars could pass up there or hold their position up there. So I was pretty impressed about that.
Kaleb, I didn't get to see other than what you posted and a few clips here and there, but I did see like a photo finish in one of the features. Which one was that one?
Ironically, that was the first race of the night. It was Chase Robertson. Oh my God. And Tommy McNeil, I think, or Tommy Neal Jr. It was a photo finish coming to the line, and I thought the 21 had the 31, but Chase Robinson came back from 8th place, and he held the bottom, and Tommy went on the top, and hey, it was a photo finish at the line, and I thought the 21 had it until we looked on Flow Racing's Twitter, and they were like, Chase Robinson won the race, and I wasn't mad at it. It was a good race, and it was a good way to start out the season at Bowman Gray for sure.
Awesome. Thomas, sounds like a good time, bud. Kaleb and Thomas, did you have anything for intros, man? Anything going on?
Not really. I just wanted to add to the Bowman Great thing that I was really pleased to see how many people were there, that people are still giving the love and attention that local short tracks deserve. So I was really happy to see the crowd that was there. That made me feel good to see that, because Bowman Gray definitely deserves a lot of love, and I'm glad people still appreciate it.
Now I'm gonna probably ask this every time I go to Bowman Gray. So in the foreseeable future, does the Cup race happen at Bowman Gray management?
I'm gonna say no on that one.
Yeah, I just think infrastructure and what other things NASCAR's got going on, and some things they got going down the pipe, I think it's just a little too small. I think they're going to keep it a regional track, but it's got its place, man. I tell you, it sounds like a fun old time. And Kate, I couldn't be there with you, bud.
Yeah.
Well, I got two quick things on the intro before we get started. But number one, and I know we hadn't even been to Dover yet, but I want to tell you boys, I did get my physical North Wilkesboro tickets in the mail today, and got everything. And, when you get that big envelope, it's kind of old school. You can opt for the physical tickets, or you can put them on your phone. I do both because I like it's like almost like commemorative. But anyway, that came in the mail, so I got super pumped about North Wilkesboro and the All-Star race. That was the pain medicine right there, Kaleb. If you couldn't tell, there might be some slurs coming out, listeners, on the N&B pod tonight, but that's okay. Y'all can give me a break on that. And then I got a question for you boys before we get started. And I just started thinking about it yesterday. I think. And we'll get into this obviously with the results yesterday, but I think Tyler Reddick is an absolute dog in the making, man. He is he's no joke, brother. And they're getting it figured out slowly but surely at 23-11. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But I look at Tyler Reddick and I look at Christopher Bell. Those two drivers in particular. I think I've mentioned how underrated I think Christopher Bell is. But amongst those two boys, which one will beat the other in the race to become the next Cup Series champ / Toyota superstar? Which one of those is going to get that done first? Because those are the two I look at when I think who's going to carry that Toyota and be our next Cup champions, because I do think they will both be Cup champions in the future. Who you got, Thomas? I'll kick it to you first.
That's a great question, but I'm going to have to go undoubtedly Christopher Bell on this one. I think he's overall the better driver. I mean, he's shown more to me than Reddick has. I mean, in my opinion, Reddick got extremely lucky yesterday. I can't remember if it was McDowell or somebody. I think it was McDowell should have hit him and Brad should have won. But whatever. But I mean, although Reddick is a great driver, I think Christopher Bell is going to be the first one to get a championship.
Well, before I kick it to Kaleb, I will say this: like, not taking yesterday away, I'm just talking in general, and like if the way in which Reddick won at RCR and how they're doing now, that's kind of where I'm looking like, RCR is going to be hurting down the road when KFB leaves, and they lost Reddick, to be honest, because that was the guy that was going to carry the whole deal. But Kaleb, what are your thoughts? Christopher Bell or Tyler Reddick?
I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell as well. I mean, if you look at Christopher Bell, he's just a overall versatile driver, whether it's Chili Bowl, racing dirt, sprint cars, whatever, quarter midgets or midget cars, what have you. And I mean, 2 back-to-back championship 4 appearances, and just luck was not on his side. And you see him nearly every week now, running up top 5, contending for wins. And he went out and won Phoenix, and then last year running down Larson in Vegas. And then, he's got really great success at these other tracks as well. But luck just has been on his side. And I mean, I would not doubt if we see Christopher Bell in this championship 4 again this year. I would not doubt it. And Christopher Bell said it in the documentary, and he said it on pre-race. People doubted him and a lot, and he wanted to prove people wrong that he belongs here and that he should be in the spotlight. And a lot of people just haven't given him the credit where credit is due. And I feel like if we take away, and I'm going to get into this later, but even going to these tracks, he always is one of those ones that are in top 5 contention that you just sleep on. You see him just slowly creeping up the pylon, slowly creeping up to the top 5. Yeah, slowly creeping up. But that's another conversation for later. But ultimately, I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell. Yes.
Okay. Well, I ain't no wrong answer, boys, and I appreciate the input. I just started thinking about it because I mean, the good news, there's no wrong answer. The good news is they're both going to be Cup champions down the road. We'll be getting those race wins, be it at Phoenix or Homestead in 124 when they seal the deal and win their championships. But 2 awesome racers, and Toyota is definitely future looks bright, boys, for sure. I will ask you this. Now, you had me thinking about this too, Kaleb, when you said championship 4. We're 12 races in, a third of the way through the season. Does anybody want to change their championship 4? Because I kind of do. I ain't gonna lie to you. I
think I'm pretty content with mine. I mean, though the 22 isn't really where he wants to be, I still got a little bit of hope. I'm not kicking Joey to the curb yet.
Okay. What about you, Thomas? You got any changes?
I'm just fine with mine right now. I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's time for me to panic just yet. But I mean,
well, I tell you, I'm wearing William Byron stuff, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube. But I'm for a couple of weeks now, I said, William Byron is probably going to go through a bit of a slump, and I have Chase in, so that was my thing. I'm sticking my guns there, but I had Larson, Denny, Chase, and I'd probably at this point, if you twisted my arm, I'd trade Logano out for William Byron, but and make it a Hendrick versus Denny championship 4. But anyway, I'm the oldest one, so I get to do stupid stuff like that where I get to change my mind, I guess. But anyway, I won't do that officially though. Logano's still in there. But moving on, let's go to the racing rundown, boys, and let's talk about this Talladega race. Wow. I mean, we got a lot to say about this. I'm going to break it down real briefly, and I'm going to get the floor to y'all because I know y'all got a lot to say about it. Listen, I got 3 bullet points on this thing, but I got 90 other thoughts about this race. Number 1, I'll say I thought Toyota was playing chess while Ford and Chevy was playing checkers. Whoever's over at the Toyota camp and come up with that brilliant strategy, that was amazing to figure out when your fuel, your fuel window to where you can make it and pit and then just go balls to the wall speed wise and make up. What they did is they waited till let's just say 40 laps to go or something, and they all came in and pitted first. And when they came out, the strategy was to go full throttle. Boys, we saw them going around half throttle pretty much the whole race, minus the last 10 laps of any stage. But when they did that, it was amazing because they forced the hands of every lap that Ford and Chevy were taking to make up their mind to pit. They were gaining seconds and seconds on them. And even if when they would have pit, they would have came around and easily been in the lead by several seconds, in my opinion. So I thought that was brilliant and awesome. And then people that like strategy, fuel mileage strategy, I mean, I guess it's a great race for them. But, I didn't like the race, man. And I'm really worried as somebody that loves Daytona and going to the 500, you listening to various talking heads in the sport. Oh, it wasn't a bad race. Oh, I give it an 8. It's lots of strategy. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to challenge every one of them. Go to a drafting track race, not necessarily Atlanta, but go to Talladega and Daytona and watch and listen to those cars go around half throttle, all 36 to 40 of them for 2 stages. Listen to it and watch it with your own eye and see how slow they're going and tell me you're entertained. I have a real problem with that. I think it's an issue. And, you got drivers openly admitting to just, going maybe 2 to 5 laps full throttle the whole race. That's crazy to me. And boys, tell me when talking about Michael McDowell, tell me when crossing from the outside wall to the yellow line to make a block has ever worked in NASCAR. Has that ever worked?
No, because that reminded me of I don't remember which Daytona race it was. It was a race where Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart were up front, and Kyle Busch came down across Tony Stewart's nose, and it was the same effect and sent him right up into the wall.
Every time. Now, I will say, Michael McDowell's racing for a win. It's every man for himself, so to speak. So I get that part of it. I also get the part that, those are opportunities for front row that they feel like they can get a W, right, and make it into the playoffs. So I understand that part of it, but I don't know, man. It's just that's never going to work in my opinion. So what y'all got about the Talladega race, boys? Thomas, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just start off by saying I was thoroughly disappointed. It just seemed they were going slow, like they weren't trying to do anything. They were just riding. They were just riding, just cruising, just having a good Sunday afternoon drive. Not really trying to do anything, not really passing that much. And as far as Michael McDowell was concerned, I mean, I knew when the white flag flew, I knew it was getting time for him to do something stupid, and he wasn't going to win. I knew it was either going to be Brad or it was going to I knew it was one of those two. I knew he was either going to. I knew he was going to do something stupid, and that's sure enough what happened. But I was honestly mad like the entire race yesterday. I mean, for several reasons, but I was mad, and I really did not enjoy it at all. I did see towards the end of the race a third row started to form, like the Hendrick cars. I know because I was following Chase, but I know Larson and Chase were there, and it seemed like they could get a run when they would start up on the backstretch, but once they would come to turn 3, they would just lose it, and that gave me a little bit of hope towards the end of the race that maybe Chase could get a top 10 or maybe a top 5 if something were to happen. But obviously that dissipated pretty quickly. And, Chase finished, I think, top 15, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. I was so irritated. I don't remember. But, I mean, overall, I was just disappointed. I always look forward to the Talladega races because it's always good racing, drafting, it's unpredictable. I've always loved Talladega for that reason. But yesterday was a letdown. And I think both of you guys can agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you boys hit the nail on the head with all of it. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever been bored watching a Talladega race, but that changed yesterday. The first and second stage, I mean, it was, plate racing. It was underwhelming. It was yeah. I mean, I feel like every type of track is problematic at this point, except for the 1.5 miles. I mean, I'm just being honest.
It's true.
I mean, the fuel saving stuff, it ruins the racing. It needs to change. I mean, and Gluck was like, him and Chris Knight were going back and forth because they were like, hey, what is this? And Gluck was like, well, I'd rather see a fuel saving race than see him run single file. Man, forget that. I want full throttle. I don't care if they're going single file. If they're going half throttle, they're not doing nothing. And then, like Thomas, what you said about the top lane, I sent that in the group chat. I don't know why nobody was trying to go to the top coming to the end of the race. No, and I was kicking myself with Kyle Busch, but then he explained himself. Because I was like, why is Kyle not going to the top? Like, he is a Chevy driver. I want Chevy to go to the top. He was just like, and it's to the point where Harvick and Boyer kind of calls it out. And I hope to not hear it when I didn't think I was going to hear it coming to Talladega. And Kyle Busch even said it. They couldn't pass. And we're at a super speedway where you're supposed to run full throttle and you're supposed to run 100%. Why can't we pass? That Kyle Busch was like, you ride in the line, you finish where you finish, and he was like, you try to race for the win and you get shuffled back and you finish last. And I mean, he was just simply like, the cars suck. He hates them. And Denny said on the podcast, Denny was like, they changed the car on super speedways so it doesn't have as much drag and pull out the pass. He was like, go back to the 21 package of the Gen 6 car that produced runs and get rid of this garbage, super speedway package that we have now. But I mean, it was just very, very underwhelming. And I mean, like you say, I thought at least we'll see some 3-wide racing coming to the finish and people moving lines and whatnot, trying to make passes, pulling out of line. But we didn't get a chance to see that because couldn't get a third lane for him and the cars couldn't pass. And I mean, it just wasn't good. It wasn't a good look for TV, and it was not good for the drivers. And I know Truex had some stuff to say about it, and Denny's crew chief, Chris Gabehart asked him if he was having fun out there, and Denny was like, absolutely not. And then, I'm sure the wreck, solidified that. And Truex was just like the worst racing ever, at Talladega. So, I mean, that's all I got for it. I mean, hey, hate it for Brad, but figured Michael McDowell would at least be like Joey Logano at a plate race. So,
yeah.
Hey, I guess it's the yellow and red paint schemes, I reckon.
I'm kind of like you, Thomas, except I just thought he would have got past. I wasn't expecting him to do something crazy like cross the entire track down and coming to the checkers. But I got two questions for you real quick. Is what about you mentioned drag, Kaleb, and that being a huge problem with you cannot go out and make a run. I think the top was trying to go at the back toward the end, but what happened was it's going to take about 5+ cars
to
pick it up, and then if you're in the back, think about it, you're just thinking, man, I'm making this run just to finish maybe 15th because I'll be like the 5 back in 3 lanes. But do we just take the spoiler off the car? Do we just a problem?
So I guess my question, I wouldn't say take the spoiler. Do we just make it, God knows, just really, really tiny? I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's what I kind of mean.
Yeah.
Some of our diecast from the 2019s with that little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look at the spoiler.
But Thomas is peeking his diecast over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, but my thing was you and I saw, like I said, I saw where Kyle Busch is coming from, and I guess I can commend Ty Gibbs for going up there and screwing up the line. I don't know, but it just, from my opinion, it just looked like Chase and Blaney were the only two, and I guess you could throw SVG up there in the mix. We're trying to just get something going, and no one else would go. But I mean, like you say, to your point, you got to have more than at least 6+ cars to do it. But
this seems like the first Talladega race that they've done this. Like, is this the first one that they've been so adamant on fuel savings? It seems like they're creating a problem themselves. I mean, it seems like with the tire. I mean, what are you gonna say?
Well, yes. I mean, here's where I get what you're saying, because it's almost like this new kind of problem, right? But I really noticed it in the Daytona 500. I tell you, boys, the only thing that changed and made the Daytona 500 or masked it. The problem existed there too this past February. But they got so much racier after the first stage into the second stage. The second stage was racy in the Daytona 500.
Right.
So you really only saw that mess going on in stage one. And that's what I noticed it sitting in the stands. I was like, these guys are literally going when they couldn't. I think it was Allmendinger was going by himself around the track and making ground on the pack cars. That's what I noticed. I was like, oh, these boys running like half throttle or less. So that's where I saw it really prevalent. But once the second stage hit, they got racy as heck because it's the 500. It's the first race, So I don't know, Kaleb, did you remember anything like last year? Because it's obviously a next gen problem, or even 2022 where they were doing this.
I think 2020 they were more racy in 2022 for sure. Last year I think it was happening, but it wasn't as bad. And I think we're gonna get into this later, and of course Fox having something on top of that, Fox and their mess. That was just it was just factor after factor, and cars just couldn't pass, and it was a lot. And then, granted, there wasn't, and like you say, they were saving fuel running half throttle, so it wasn't really much drama going on. So, it just wasn't as exciting or what the Talladega that we expected it to be.
Yeah. Now I got a second question, but I can actually save this for Thomas's next segment, so I'm gonna save it for that. Anybody else got anything on the Geico 500?
You said that's so depressing. No, I do
it
not.
Sucked.
Oh, we didn't put this on our N&B race meter.
Oh, God. Hey, chalk it up to the meds, Kaleb. My bad. So let me hit you since you remember. But what you got on the N&B race meter for the Geico 500?
Well, as I put on my fan council survey, I'm gonna go with a 4.
Thomas.
Well, I'm gonna go 2. I think I was disgusted not only at the racing, but just everything in general just had me just not very happy. So I'm gonna give it a 2.
That's higher than I thought you were gonna go, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's but honestly, no, I think for me anyway, that was right there with what I thought Thomas would be. I actually gave it on the fan council. I gave it a 3. I was pretty upset last night, but calming down and listening to Caleb's points and Thomas's too, I'll give it for the N&B meter. I'll go 4. It was and only I don't necessarily buy into what Gluck was saying about fuel strategy, but it is one factor that at least makes it somewhat interesting. But we'll go get into all of this a little bit next with the next segment. So Thomas, I do believe that the 2 is the lowest rating ever given on the N&B race meter so far.
Yeah, it deserves it, to be honest. I mean, I remember giving a race. I think I gave a race earlier this season a pretty bad rating. I can't remember which one it was, but race
was it last weekend?
I don't know.
Well,
no, I don't remember which one it was, but this one by far, I was the most, I guess, upset about this season.
I don't think Thomas liked Coda too much.
Oh yeah,
that was another one. Yeah,
that was garbage. But anyway, I think Talladega was worse in my opinion.
Where were we last weekend?
Texas.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that one. I think it might have been the one. I don't know. It was one of those ones.
It was Martinsville and then Richmond.
Martinsville. I think Martinsville was another one that was down there for you.
No, I could. Was it
for Thomas?
Oh, it was lower than ours for sure.
Yeah. I don't think it might have been Coda. It might have been a 4 or 5. I don't know.
I remember Coda. He was upset.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
All right,
you guys got anything else to add?
It's all you.
Not really. Yeah, you got it, bud.
All right, man. So for tonight's trackside chatter, I want to bring up a very important topic that we've discussed short tracks a lot in the previous weeks. Today, I want to ask, is racing on drafting tracks as broken as it is on short tracks with a next-gen car? And if you think it is, what are some things that can be done about it? For me, if you would ask this question before the Talladega race, I would have said no. But now that we've been through yesterday, we saw the race, we see it's an issue. I'm going to go, yes, I think it is. There's just so many problems with the next gen car that we are now losing Talladega as a good track. Like I would never expect I would be disappointed after a Talladega race. If we lose that and we lose Daytona as like good racing tracks where we can count on seeing good racing, I don't know what we're going to do. It's just going to be complaining every week and we're going to have nothing good to talk about. And I think, Kaleb, you mentioned earlier about there being a lot of drag on the cars as being an issue. But overall, I mean, I think running full throttle would help it, but I don't think it's going to cure it completely. But I really don't have a fix. Kaleb, what do you think?
I mean, I'm like everyone else, man. Let's just change this car all around. Let's just go back to the drawing board here. Let's just do what we need to do. I don't know, man. I mean, hey, but it's just so frustrating that seeing the tracks that the sport's built on, the bread and butter, the milk and cookies of our sport, and it's not producing some of the best. It's not producing good racing, and NASCAR wants to be the best motorsports in the world. And granted, I mean, yeah, I still think we are, but it's just like, this is the races that, you tell your friends to tune into that have never watched NASCAR, never seen NASCAR. Because I mean, I've had a personal experience with Richmond. When we were at Richmond, I had a friend who wanted to watch Richmond. Now to us, because we knew how the sport was, we were like, all right, this was a disappointment for Richmond. And in his eyes, it was probably some of the greatest stuff he've ever seen, considering the ending and whatever. But no, but I don't know, man. I mean, do we reduce? I mean, do we take Denny's approach with the drag, or do we, like you say, Gene, do we mess with the spoiler, or do we just keep doing these little tinks and knickknacks and whatever to the car until, like, oh, we found a sweet spot, or do we just like, hey, there's somebody up there in headquarters, up there in Concord, or over there in Concord is like, hey, this car sucks. Like, what? Let's fix this by by the next few races, or let's fix this at least by the playoffs when we come back to these tracks. So I'm not sure. I mean, but the throttle thing, man, that's not super speedway racing, running half throttle around a 2-mile track, man. That's just not gonna cut it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like if you're not going close to 200 miles an hour, is it really Talladega? Is it really Daytona? Exactly. I mean, think about it that way. But you made a point about, minor adjustments here and there until we hit a sweet spot. Well, that takes time. And we've already, 3 years we've wasted with this next gen car. I mean, that takes time. And I wanted to point out, like 2007, we started off with, I think it was Gen 4, then we went to the COT mid-year, I think.
Yep, that's right.
So we could do like something like that where we change it, not entirely, but just enough to where we can make racing better. That's just a thought.
All right, boys. These are all good thoughts. I'm going to break it down to you. In real terms here. I'm going to shock you in a little bit to start off by saying, actually, there's some facets of the next gen car I really, really like. I like the way it looks. It's more symmetrical. It's not some Frankenstein yawed out looking thing that's, the Gen 6 was. And I really like the look of the car. I actually like the single lug wheels. And I know Caleb's about to lose it because he wants to go back to 5 lug nuts. And I think they've improved the safety now. I want to get some updates on Eric Jones.
He's you didn't hear?
No,
go ahead.
I don't have maybe not. I don't have the most up to date from today, but so I do know he went to the hospital. But what you got, Kaleb? You got anything?
He's apparently he got checked into a hospital down in Talladega or down in Alabama, but he He's back home in North Carolina. He got released today, actually. So
can I be real direct? I want to know if he broke his back because there's
that I do not know.
There's little bones up and down your spine that can break, and they're not debilitating, but I have to believe he has some sort of microfractures or something at minimum. And I thought, they had fixed some of the problems with the safety of the next gen, but now I don't know. But I'm going to tell you to you like this, boys, when an entity as big as NASCAR, and this is just life, when they invest so much into something, they're going to do two things. They're going to change and adapt so it won't fail, or they're going to just bury their head in the sand and keep using it and make us all crazy. It seems to be like they're choosing the latter because here's the fix, in my opinion. This is my humble opinion. So for the short-term fix, you're going to have to do something like you're going to have 4 stages at super speedways, named Daytona and Talladega. You already have it at Charlotte for the 600. You're going to have to take the fuel saving strategy out the window. You're going to have to make it to where guys can get through a stage on a single run, balls to the wall, flat out, right? So that's a short fix. But what you're really, really going to have to do is you're going to have to revert back to the old ways. You're going to have to, because teams aren't saving money. Everybody knows this. I don't know why NASCAR's trying to think they are by just single car, single engine, take it to Bristol, following week, take it to Talladega, then take it to Watkins Glen. That ain't working, guys. So you're going to have specialized rule packages for these different types of tracks. That's it. Is it going to cost more money? Probably. Do they not want the Hendricks and the Gibbs and the Penske's dominating and because they have the resources? Probably, and they want to make it cheaper for the other teams and the small guy. But guess what, boys? We're 12 races in. Who's dominating this year? Hendrick
and the Gibbs.
And Penske's waiting. They're lying in wait, ready to go, right? So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going, as NASCAR, I mean, not really us, but you are going to have to admit that to make this work to the way we want it and the drivers want it and everybody in the industry probably wants it, except the casual fan who don't know no better. Like, I hate to say it, but, the guys that just are coming in, because they don't know. They don't know how good it can be. They don't know how good it can be if you have 4 stages and you put a restrictor plate on an engine and drop the spoiler down, right? That's automatically going to change the game for Daytona and Talladega. So there's so many things you could do, or you could. I don't like this particular idea, but just go no stage racing like you did at the road courses at super speedways, right? So if they're not, and you can still award points, by the way, you just don't stop the race, right? Like they did it. Did they do it? One of the road courses or two a couple years ago, they tried that, right? It didn't produce the best racing for the road courses, but I can guarantee you it'd be better than what we saw yesterday. And that's not my number one pick, but it all boils down to that. Either keep your head buried in the sand and keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, or make specialized packages, one for the short tracks, one for the super speedway drafting tracks, one for the road courses, and have teams, unfortunately have to build different cars for different tracks. Bottom line, what you got?
Yeah, I like what you brought up about that point because, back when we had the Gen 6 or the Gen 5, whatever car, each teams had different cars for different tracks. You had your road course car, you had your super speedway car, you had your mile-and-a-half car. So I really like that idea of reverting back instead of the same car for every track, just a different package. So I really, really like that idea. Really like that.
Yeah. Thomas, what you think about that, man?
You made some great points. I mean, I really don't have anything else to add on top of what you guys said.
Well, and like if you really think about it from an old school It's about time for another pain pill. Let me tell you. I can't even talk. God bless. You think about the old days. There was no way this man right here behind me would go and bump and run Rusty Wallace at Bristol in a car he would take then to Talladega in a couple weeks. That's just not how that worked back then. So for the old school fans, we understand that, right? And, I'm sorry, man. It's not going to be equal. I don't care what you do. Hendrick Motorsports ain't equal to Kaleb racing. I mean, they're not. And Penske ain't equal to Rick Ware. So, I don't get it. I just it's real simple. I mean, phase it in, make it look like you're not doing it. Give the team some power and control and make some rule adjustments. But NASCAR, you have got to do something to fix. Golly, we sit here for weeks and we clamored about the heart and soul of our sport, short track racing. Now we got that's the heart. The soul is track and track racing. So you're taking away the heart and the soul of the sport. I mean, boring as heck, Talladega. I couldn't believe it, man. But that's my take on it. And it's very simplified in thought, but it's like, because I could sit here for another 2 pods and probably think of the direct changes that we could all start making, right? As a sport and an industry. But it all starts with NASCAR just waving the white flag on, and not the real white flag, but admitting defeat on the fact that you're trying to have this one car go everywhere. It's not going to work. It's not. One engine goes everywhere. Come on. No.
Yeah, if we keep having these bad races at Talladega, word's going to get to their ear and they're going to bulldoze Talladega and they're going to make a 6-mile road course with 87 turns.
I don't think they're that crazy, man.
I don't know, man. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if in March or something,
Thomas,
we're going to bulldoze Talladega and do a 6-mile road course with 97 turns and have elevated where there's bridges and it goes underground and skyscrapers and all this mess.
Thomas,
Mario Kart.
You just that's on that vein. That's kind of what I was thinking when you were talking. I was thinking, what NASCAR is going to get so desperate, dude? They're going to rip down Talladega Super Speedway, and they're going to build 2.5-mile tracks that you then have to do a little road course. You do like half the race at this one, and then halfway through the race, maybe stage 2, you got to do like your little road course to get to the second 1.5 miles, and then do the rest of the race. That's where we're headed. And then the turtle shells and the mushrooms and the
mystery boxes throughout the track you have to run into and it throws stuff on the track.
Yeah, that's where we're going, man. Mario Kart, perfect.
Oh boy. Well, since you guys got that off your chest, we're gonna dive into our speedway spectacle here.
Go on, bring it back to some credibility.
My God. So. On a good note, when like James Brown says, we're gonna get on a good foot here, and or as Joey Logano says, we're gonna get on the good feet here, and we're headed to Dover this weekend, and boys, what are we expecting? Who's your picks? Pole, race winner, and all in all, what are we thinking heading into Dover Sunday for the Wurth 400?
Thomas, you on a roll, man. We've been kicking it to you all night. First, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna try to keep it positive. I'm gonna try to, after Talladega, I want a good race. I want some positivity. So I'm hoping we see something, a good short track race. I guess it's not really a short track, but I mean, I just hope it's good racing. I hope that there's passing. I mean, but I think we all know what's gonna happen. But I hope.
Thomas, I do want to add some good news to you. I know you was talking about that R word the other day, and I want to put a disclaimer out there. So if I jinx it, I guess you guys can come for me. It is supposed to be 80 degrees, sunny, bright and sunny Sunday, man. The rain's supposed to be gone out by Saturday, man. So who knows? We might see an Xfinity Cup doubleheader.
Man, I hope so. It just seems like every time that we're planning to go to a race, you pull up the weather. it's like sunny, 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 then rain, rain. It's like, it's just like every time. It seems like I
Hey,
just remember last season, last spring was really bad for the rain.
it's
And it
just
just seems like every week it's in the question whether it's going to rain or not.
it's just giving us a preview for the Coke 600, man.
Kaleb,
I know it's going to be the Rain X 600.
Kaleb. After the
Yeah.
week I've had, if you jinx this Dover race for me, and I get rained on, you're gonna wear one of my Kyle Larson hats on you on the next podcast.
So we heard it here at 8:50 p.m. that if it just started, the skies just start crying out there in Delaware, in Dover, Delaware, I'll be, I guess, wearing a royal blue number 5 Kyle Larson HendrickCars.com hat.
I tell you, if I'm sitting out in the stands, soaking wet, that's just going to give me a whole nother reason to not like up north.
Well,
we gotta have listeners up north, man.
I would
I'm
extend
just keeping it honest.
I would extend that same punishment to Thomas, except I'd never see that hat again. He'd slam it, kick it down, run over it with his truck, and then I'd never.
No, I don't know if I'd do that. I would just scrape Larson's name off and put Kane on there.
I was about to say, how about I get the Larson one and Thomas can get the Alex Bowman one at that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that's a fair deal. I get the Larson one and Thomas gets the Alex Bowman one.
No, sir. You've crossed a line with that one. That's for sure. I'm not wearing that mess. In no way.
Hey man, Bowman's gonna win this year, man. Bowman got that.
He finished top 5 Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Top 5's not a win. If he'd stop being such a sorry driver, and actually race, he could win. I mean, if you let post injury Chase Elliott win before you, you suck.
Oh no.
Man, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I saw Bowman towards the front yesterday, and I actually thought he might have a shot to win. I was pulling for him. I want to see him win. Man. That's for sure.
I was too. Bowman is
showing. Thomas, I hope you get that Alex Bowman wristband for Hendrick Fan Day.
I'm going to politely decline and hand it to somebody else. No, I'm kidding. If I got a wristband, I'd go, but I don't have anything for him to sign, to be honest.
I got some stuff, man. I'll get you something. I got a couple Diecast, got some things. I'll sell it to you for a cut rate, man.
Yeah.
Well, we done derailed this thing. Hold on. Let me get it back. Yeah. So, the Monster Miles, the Monster. Let's go. We've had some Hendrick domination before. We had some Gibbs domination. I think it's going to be another Hendrick Gibbs show, one way or another. I do. Boys, didn't he guarantee to win on his pod? Does that change anybody's mind before we get going here? Because I'm ready to give you my poll and race winner pick.
No, I mean, other than matter of fact, we can go ahead and dive into our picks, and I'll get in my my stats after.
There you go.
That.
Go ahead.
So speaking of Denny, that is my poll winner for the Wurth 400. I'm going with Denny Hamlin as getting the poll, and for my winner, I'm going with the number 1 of Ross Chastain.
Ooh, I'd love to see it.
Ross, I've watched the 2022 Dover race, and I watched the Dover race last year, and Ross Chastain has finished in the top 5 of both of those races. And I do want to add two other drivers I am looking out for other than Chase Elliott. I'm looking at Brad Keselowski. Brad has ran top 10 and top 5 in the Dover races. And I think after that race at Talladega yesterday, I think he is gearing up to be he'll be putting up a fight. He'll be another one to watch along with Truex, of course. So
yeah.
But other than him being a Toyota I'm watching, Christopher Bell is another one. Christopher Bell has started mid-pack at Dover, and he has finished within the top 5 and top 10 of the last few Dover races that we have had since 2020.
Love it, man. I ain't seen a Seabell, Keselowski. I actually did see Keselowski win. Never mind. And then I hadn't seen a Ross Chastain win, so I mean, I'm down with all that, man. Man, good stats.
I'd have to agree, man. I would love to see Brad Keselowski win because it's been forever since he's won, and it could be forever since he wins again until he wins again. So
Yeah,
you never know. It's getting that point. But
yeah.
I would love to see Brad win. But for my poll, I'm going Kyle Larson to get the pole.
You think he's looking for some redemption for the front row, huh?
Yeah, I'm just thinking because I'll be there. I know how Larson runs when I'm there, and I think to me personally, I think it's going to be a Hendrick domination across the board.
Okay.
So I'm going Larson for the pole, and then to win, Chase Elliott. He's going to win the Dover race.
Nice. Okay.
I'm glad you were bold enough to say it. Couldn't do it.
My moratorium for picking Chase is over when he got Texas. I can pick him again, but I don't want to jinx him. But do you want to go last, Kaleb, and I'll hit you with mine?
I've already given mine.
Oh, God bless, boys! I tell you,
Okay.
Drugs are powerful things, man. Not bad. Who did you pick? God bless.
I got Denny Hamlin as my pole winner and Ross as my winner.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll be better next week. I promise. I'll be better next week. Okay, so let me go with for the poll. I have got the driver of the number 9 Napa Chevrolet, Mr. Chase Elliott. Got him on the poll, man. He runs great there too. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, I watched the last few laps of that 2022 race, and I was pleasantly surprised and pleasantly shocked of how in contention he had got towards like the last 80 laps, 50 to 80 laps.
Yeah, he runs good in the Gen 6 and the Gen 7, but I got him for the pole. But the way the number 11 FedEx team, Mavis Tires, whatever they're going to run this week, the way they've been running with Gabe Hart and the crew and Denny, when he goes on his podcast and guarantees a W, doggone, I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to take Denny Hamlin wins the Dover race, man.
Interesting. So
and Kaleb, you said we're going to see about 5 Denny wins this year, so I might as well,
So you're all in at Dover. I got you. So it's going to be all in, and then it's going to rain. Got it.
No.
No, it'll rain. It'll be a Gibbs win or something. Ty Gibbs will win. Insult to injury. No, but now that you picked Denny, I'm gonna be sure to pack my Denny hat this weekend.
There you go.
And listen, he's gonna be cross dressing. He's gonna have on a Chase shirt and a Denny hat.
Oh, you already know.
That's fine. I'm good with it, man. Listen, the older I get, the more I get stuff like that. You know, I mean, these are good. These are good dudes, man. I mean, I don't dislike any of them out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's awesome, man. Awesome. Can't believe I totally blanked out. Went to La La Land while Kaleb was making his racing pole pick. But anyway, okay. Well, anything else that you got, Kaleb, for your Speedway spectacle?
No, sir.
All right, boys, let's move it on down to the outro and our Diecast reveal of the week.
You missed one.
Oh, did I? What do I got? What do I got? Oh, fuel for thought. Oh my God, boy! Oh my God, I did.
Listeners, it's about bedtime. We appreciate you guys hanging in.
I can't even front, man. Hydrocodone's dangerous in my system, I guess. But anyway, let me go to fuel for thought, and let me hit you with this one, boys. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the Hendrick 40th anniversary celebration coming up before the Coke 600. Going to be a big party out there at HMS, and can't wait to go. We've got our wristband lottery in, and hopefully we get to meet some drivers. But I started thinking about it, and some of the list of drivers include, Jeff Gordon signing autographs, Ricky Craven. You got your Kyle's not going to be able to do it because he's got the Indy double responsibilities, but you got Bowman, you got Chase, you got William Byron. So it got me thinking about the illustrious fraternity of past Hendrick drivers, and I thought, why ain't Jimmy Johnson ever around? Especially of all the years to be around Hendrick in some form. What's going on? Should Jimmy Johnson be more involved as an ambassador for Hendrick Motorsports, or does his allegiance to Legacy Motor Club and Toyota excuse him? And I want to kick it to y'all. Kaleb, what do you think about this? Because a man's got 83 wins or so and 7 championships, and he's nowhere in the building when we're celebrating 40th anniversaries. I don't understand.
I'm not completely sure, to be quite honest. I would think specifically because he hadn't been there he wasn't there last year, and he wasn't. I don't think he was. Well, obviously, I'm assuming sometime after 2017, 2018. But I just don't know. Like, I wouldn't say it's the Toyota alliance because you still have well, granted, Ricky Craven's retired, but at the end of the day, Jimmy Johnson's retired, and I would think specifically because of the Hendrick 40th anniversary, and he's obviously contributed a lot of championships, a lot of wins, a lot of success to HMS. You would assume he would be there for the 40th, and I would assumed he would have been in the midst of the Hendrick stuff at Martinsville, but I don't know. I don't think it's a Toyota thing. I just think he just chooses not to be there unless he's just, I don't know. Because, like you say, Chad Canales and Jeff Andrews and Jeff Gordon pretty much got that whole operation on lock. So I'm not completely sure. I wouldn't say it's the Toyota alliance, but I don't know. Maybe he's just going to do something with Legacy, in their Fan Fest thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it could be that, but I'm gonna back up, man. I'll give him a complete pass for last year, starting up his involvement with Legacy Motor Club. Then obviously the family tragedy. He didn't even get to race some of the races he had committed to racing. Moves the family to England to avoid all that. I'm gonna give him a complete and utter pass on last year, but I know he's welcome there. I know.
For sure.
He's welcome there. I know he sought out advice from everybody in that building, to include Rick Hendrick, to include Chad Canals, to include Jeff Gordon on how to, be an owner, how to get into the sport. And I don't know. It kind of hurts me as a uber Hendrick Motorsports fan that we're just not getting that from him. And I just thought this particular event in Charlotte, 600 weekend, would have been a perfect opportunity. And it's not just Jimmy either, but Jimmy's other than Jeff Gordon, Jimmy built that place, so it's like, you could have had your Kenny Schraders over there. I don't know if he's racing somewhere. You could have had, you could have brought back I know it's not Casey Kane, Casey Mears,
Darrell Waltrip,
DW. That's right. Jeff Bodine. I'm surprised Jeff Bodine's not a wristband, by the way, just as he's already been in on some stuff in Daytona and for the 40th. So he's there. I can't say nothing about Jeff Bodine, but I don't know. It just got me thinking, boys. Thomas, do you have any thoughts on that?
It's kind of weird to me why he's not going to be involved. It's like, I don't think the Toyota thing has anything to do with it. You would think of all he's contributed to Hendrick Motorsports that he would be there. He would be like at every event. Now, I think that even if he does have a lot invested with Toyota, he would still, given who he is, still have time and still be able to, give time to Hendrick and still be present at those events. I get it, he's busy or whatever, but I still think, just given who he is, he would have time and he would be able to do those events. And the last year and a half, it just has been a lot of question marks around Jimmy Johnson. Given the family circumstances and everything, I get that, but there's just been a lot of question marks around him, and I don't really have an answer because I don't know much about it, and I don't really know what to say regarding Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, but the other thing I will say, we are still over a month out on this HMS homecoming on Memorial Day weekend. So, like Ricky Craven, maybe they could make some more announcements, with some upcoming driver lineups. And not saying I'm foreshadowing anything. I'm not, because I don't know as much as we go up there, but I do not know if they're doing any more driver appearances there or not. But like you say, it could be one of those situations where kind of a limited run on wristbands, and they're like, hey, first come first serve or something like that. Or because I'm most certain they're gonna have someone else there to fill the void without Kyle Larson being there. Another big name, I would think, that's gonna come back and at least give back to the fans in HMS.
Yeah.
I mean, me being sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it, Thomas. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, to fill the void with Larson not being there. Of course, with me, I'm gonna say Casey Kane.
Yeah.
But I don't know what name they would put in there. I mean, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't see Casey Kane doing it. But
would you say Dale Jr.?
Oh God, I forgot Dale Jr. Absolutely.
Would you say Junior has his fan day on that Thursday and then comes and does HMS on Saturday and then heads on to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the to be out there to support his Xfinity team?
I would say there's a good chance that he would do it.
I know you'll be Saturday once that gets announced.
I mean, Junior's definitely willing to go to these small tracks and run these late model races and sit down and sign autographs forever. He's definitely willing to do that. So I could definitely see him being there and taking time for the fans like he has his entire career. He's been from what I've heard, he's been great to the fans his entire career. So I could definitely see him being there.
For sure.
Yeah, and I will say this too, and to wrap it up, is if Legacy's got something going on that same day, and Jimmy wants to be up there with his new team and Toyota and his new driver lineups and all that, I can't fault him for that. I was just thinking, if not this big 40th anniversary celebration, we need to figure out how to get him recognized at a track, or I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird that, and I don't know the reasons. Like you, Kaleb, we go up there all the time, and I'm not that's not something I'm ever going to ask anybody up there. By the way, it ain't my business, but it just does seem like something's off. That he's just not that involved in the legacy he helped build at that race shop. It's just. He'll always have in my opinion, he'll always have a home. And knowing how Rick Hendrick runs his business and like a family, I guarantee you, Rick Hendrick's like, Jimmy, you've always got a place here inside the walls of Hendrick Motorsports. So it's just, maybe he's just trying to strike out and doesn't want to, wants to carve out a new legacy or what. But it's just kind of weird to me, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was so excited to get to my diecast reveal. I
Take it away.
I didn't want to shortchange that fuel for thought, but anyway, we're back on track now. Well, boys, I think it was probably Friday. I was still writhing in some pain, and ain't nothing to do when you're cooped up in the house with a kidney stone, but just check eBay and check what's the Fanatics and NASCAR Store and Racing USA, Diecast Depot, CSO Diecast, all that, man. So I was doing that like a good NASCAR race fan should. And I happened on this diecast that I've been looking for a while, and I've been hemming and hawing on buying it because I didn't get it when it came out, and now it's uber expensive, and Kaleb has one. But I texted y'all boys and I said, hey, this guy's offering me $225 for this car. And I said, well, y'all, I mean, I knew what the answer was, but I had to ask my boys. I had to say, boys, should I pull the trigger on this? Am I just being stupid if I don't? Because I've let one go at about $225 before. Kaleb, you probably paid a little bit more than that. I mean, but I said, boy, should I get it? Absolutely, absolutely. Boom. Accept offer. And was that Friday, boys? This past Friday?
I believe it was. Yeah.
This dude was from California.
You're lucky.
I come home from surgery today, and this is got delivered as soon as I got home.
You're lucky.
Did you pay $380 for shipping?
No, sir. I might have paid $9.
You're
Good
lucky.
Lord.
This
That's
dude
crazy.
probably overnighted this, man. But it is oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm excited for this one.
It's the 2015 Jeff Gordon final win, Martinsville win. Man, I tell you, I was so excited when I got home. I had a rough day, boys, but when I got home and saw this, the getting delivered right after I got home, made everything just right. I'm actually going to open this box, man, because this is the old school box here.
Yep, and it's actually got the styrofoam, covering the side of it, the dark gray styrofoam. God, the car is beautiful.
Yep, got the race winning sticker. Some confetti, of course. That's pretty awesome. It's always awesome, and this little little thing here. I don't know, and then well, shoot, I know.
Did you get the race win card?
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
It got stuck, buddy. It got stuck.
Okay. I was nervous for a second.
I saw the back of it. I saw
like,
the back of it, so I knew you had it.
I said that's why it was $225. No, I'm just kidding. I've preloaded this to come out of this. Kaleb, I tell you, there's been about 5 of these where you said go on get it, and I said nah, I'm gonna wait.
I told you that car looks amazing in person.
And when I got this, man,
your face just lit up.
I'm telling you, man, this is
it's a beautiful car.
It is, and I like, the more and more I think about it, the more I like Thomas's idea. This needs to be in the bow tie case.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
You gotta put that in there.
So that bow tie case I put or I bought in Martinsville, it's only 8 spots in it, but every spot's going to be occupied by a Jeff Gordon car, and this is going to be my first one that's going to go in there. So love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. This is I'm so excited about this car that I got to put it in my top 5 of all time. Car.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that it's ARC Platinum. So the car's real heavy. It feels like an Elite.
Yeah, it's a fake Elite. Yeah, there ain't no plastic, man. Goodness, this is all metal here, boys.
Love it.
Love this car, man.
Definitely want to. I think most of my. That's got to be one of my top 3 Gordon cars for sure.
And then it helped that they live streamed that race. Was about a week ago, and we all watched it, and we all probably had tears in our eyes.
Oh, I did. I started getting emotional, man. Like I was watching it again, man. I was like, golly.
Yes, I'm telling you, man. Anyway,
that
was it, boy. I ordered that I paid for it on Friday and got it Monday from California.
I don't know how. There's two places I hate ordering from: California and Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, and the United Kingdom. But California, that Chase Elliott All-Star win right there, that thing took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get here from California. And I remember texting Thomas about that because I was like getting kind of nervous.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit about that Martinsville car. I let one go last night for $190. Somebody put me an offer for it, and I didn't buy it. And I went back on there to counter, and it had already been sold. So I had an opportunity last night to get one for $190, and I let it go.
My heart breaks for you.
That hurts almost as much as the kidney stone hurt.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is, that money could go towards a Casey Kane win or a Dale Jr. win. I just try to be positive about that, because I knew once I paid that amount of money for it, something else was going to pop up that I would rather have. So just playing it safe. But I mean, I feel kind of stupid for letting one go for under $200.
Golly, man, I can't believe that. That's a heck of a deal. Ooh, all right. Well, did anybody have? I mean, every time I do a host a pod, if anybody's got a diecast, man, don't be shy. But I did want to show y'all that one. And now that we're in our outro, man, y'all have anything y'all want to talk about to take us home?
I'm all good. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thomas, what you got?
I think there might be something that I would like to talk about.
Go ahead, fire away.
So I just want to start off by saying that Fox is a joke of a network. I think NASCAR has run its course with Fox Sports, and I'm not talking like specifically about commentators. I'm talking about the broadcast in general. It's a massive disservice to NASCAR fans. But as long as NASCAR's getting that check, that's the only thing that matters. Doesn't matter how bad the broadcast is. Doesn't matter. As long as they're getting paid, that's the only thing that matters. One thing I wanted to point out is that they went to a full commercial break with 6 to go in the stage, right?
Ooh.
And then the second that stage ends, they go to the same stupid Wendy's commercial that they did previous. Another full commercial break. And another stat I want to pull for this is we had five full commercial breaks in 45 laps of racing. That should be a crime. That shouldn't even be anywhere near considered for a NASCAR race. That is disgusting, and that ruins NASCAR on TV.
Yeah.
And another thing, they talked nothing. They did not mention a word about Eric Jones after that wreck. They didn't talk about the wreck. They didn't talk about his condition. They didn't talk about anything. Instead, they were talking about Harvick's podcast because that's more important. I guess I don't know what it is, but they completely just missed it. Just talk nothing about it. And I remember, I think somebody texted in the group chat. I don't remember about Eric Jones saying like my back or something like that he was potentially injured, and then Fox says absolutely nothing about it.
I could be wrong, but Kaleb sent us that, and I thought it was like Jeff Gluck or Jordan Bianchi or maybe Pockrass. One of them three had said something about it, and that's the only way we knew about that, man. And I gotta say real quick, and we're gonna stay on Fox here, but shout out to that Jones boy, Eric Jones, man. I hope he's all right. I know he got released, but I just hope he's all right, man, because he's a heck of a driver. He's getting some momentum going, and I just hope he's okay. But, I'm glad you said that about, it's not the announcers. Mike Joy he's, if truth be told, he's probably lost a step, a little bit. But, heck, we all do. You boys are going to find out, too, when you're my age. But, he's definitely the authority and the historian and the figurehead. But, man, Clint Boyer's slaying it. Kevin Harvick's doing an amazing job. It's not the booth, man. The booth is solid. It's everything else, though.
Yeah, it's for certain everything else. When I was getting angry about the commercials, I wasn't mad at the commentators. I wasn't mad at Clint or Kevin or Mike Joy. It's just the simple fact that Fox sucks and the broadcast sucks. Yeah. And it's like they would be talking and it would get quiet for a second. And then Mike Joy would start talking again out of nowhere. I was like, "Oh, it's commercial break again." And it was brutal. It was like every couple minutes, it was a full commercial break, and it ruins the TV presentation. And then when you have crappy racing on top of 8 million commercials, that's how a 2 rating gets formed. That is how a race gets a 2, is when you have terrible racing combined with commercials. That's how you get a 2 rating.
Man,
Kaleb. Yeah. What Thomas says is he don't ever want to see Tyler and Toby from Wendy's ever again, man.
Oh my God, you learned the names of them. That's how you know it's gone bad. I gotta go with Thomas. 3 commercial breaks and 26 laps, man. It was horrendous. And like you say, man, it ain't the commentators. I'm glad Harvick's up there keeping Clint in line, and I'm sure he's gave Clint some pointers up there for sure. So oh my God, man, I just cannot wait for NBC to be back. And I sent you guys that side by side of Fox and NBC, and you can clearly tell the difference in the 2 broadcasts, man. But I just want to put, NASCAR prides itself on reaching people, the demographic of 18 to 28, whatever. Thomas, we're in the median of that, I would assume, but that ain't it. It's not gonna help it. And it's just not going to help it for TV. It's not going to help appeal to new fans, because if fans are tuning in for a race and like you say, factor on top of factor with Talladega and fuel saving, and they tune into a race and they go, and we didn't even have a crank it up. We have not had a crank it up. We haven't had a crank it up in the last 2 races.
Yeah, that's
You know what's
right. It's
crazy?
been multiple races. We hadn't had one.
Talladega should be the race where the cars are running full steam, and we should be having multiple crank it ups per race so we can hear those stock cars going around that track.
Oh,
That's
they'll bring it back. They'll bring it back during the pit stops.
I will say,
yeah.
Thomas, they would just mess that up and have Corey LaJoy spinning around in a pond,
Oh my God. Yeah.
and they'll do a crank it
Slide
up
out there in
to
the
that.
water.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it when 40 cars running around. Oh well, never mind. Half throttle. Never mind. That wouldn't even sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
'Cause,
also missed the Christopher Bell caution. Because
yeah,
I
that
remember
we were
they
doing
were on
commercial.
commercial and they went back and Christopher Bell was sitting there spinning tires or something. I'm like, of course they missed it.
Yeah.
Stupid commercial.
Somebody brought this up too, but like, whatever happened to the days of cutting back from a commercial? I mean, I get it.
That stopped. That stopped.
Yeah, like I get it. You can't time everything right, and you don't have a crystal ball. But if there's a doggone wreck and Tyler and Toby are sitting there
Oh my God.
jamming to some techno music, then cut away and come back to the wreck, and we can go hang with Tyler and Toby later, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know.
It's just like you say, and it was just missed. Clint Boyer's been going in on him on Twitter, man, and whatnot. But it's just like yesterday, and I pointed this out. Thomas, you noticed, or Gene, I think you noticed that cars getting ready to go on pit road, and they go elsewhere and take the camera off of that. And then I think it goes to commercial or went to side by side to the Wendy's commercial, and we missed the cars going on pit road, getting their fuel on the restart, one to go. So, looks like we got till June, boys. Got till June.
Didn't you say that we're in the median for the target audience?
Well, considering we're like 23, 24 in the median, the demographic is, I want to say 18 to 34, and it's almost non-existent apparently.
Yeah, they're if we're the target audience, but yet they're spending time showing old people medicine commercials, on repeat over and over. I mean, it gets old. And I don't think that's really targeted to the audience for NASCAR.
I don't know. Maybe they assume we just sit there and eat biggie bags all day, my friend.
I don't know. It's Wendy's and like Brez Tree or something. Over and over. Make sure you talk to your doctor about this, that, and the other, and you could die if you take this medicine. It's just, God, it's getting terrible. It's that same dude drinking his coffee, sitting there talking about his COPD medicine or something. I'm like, dude, like, is one right behind the other. I mean, like, I get it.
Kaleb, it ain't. You can't just make that up, man. He's seen that commercial so many times; it's ingrained in his memory. Same as mine with the Wendy's. Golly.
Oh my God! Well, Thomas, you get a break this weekend, my friend.
I hope so, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I don't know. They might put a big old commercial down.
Yeah. They're taking away the scoring towers, but they're going to put a big screen and they're going to play Brez Tree commercials and Wendy's commercials instead. They're going to have biggie bags and heart medicine.
Man, nothing you said is wrong. Golly, I mean, I 100% agree with you, man. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's not fun to sit there and watch that production, man. It's just not. And
good.
Well, this is not even a race, but I'm so over the grid walk. God.
Oh my God.
It's so awkward.
Another 20 minutes so we can.
Oh my God, it's so awkward and cringy.
Terrible.
I'm not even sure I should even blame Michael Waltrip at this point. Maybe they're making him do it. I mean, golly, if they're making all these other bad decisions, that sounds like a decision they would make. Michael, we know that the grid walk's not doing good, but just keep doing it because we've done it for, a gazillion years. I don't know, man. Somebody's should lose their job, and it's probably pretty high up. And for whatever reason, they're untouchable over there, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I ain't got nothing to refute anything you said, man. I got one thing. Moving on from Fox, because we'll be there again next week or Actually, not next week because we ain't gonna watch it. We're gonna be live.
We got a week in between. We'll complain about Kansas.
Yeah, we'll get him on that one. But I wanted to ask y'all a question in my outro that I just didn't know if y'all saw. It's kind of J-Ski. I saw it on J-Ski before we ended up taping tonight. But J-Ski's reporting that Kroger sponsorship could move to JGR in 2025 from JTG Daugherty. That's a huge sponsorship, man. I was just going to ask if you heard about it, and B, what do you think that does to JTG Daugherty if that's true, man? Like, there's a guy that's linked in with Kroger that's working for JTG but has JGR ties and might have went to school with one of the Gibbs or something. And the rumors that, like, you know, if Kroger goes, they'll pull him over as an employee of JGR or Joe Gibbs Racing. And then that's going to leave JTG Daugherty out in the cold, man. It's going to leave potentially Stenhouse eventually. But, like, I don't want to see JTG, Daugherty go in any trouble. But, boy, that sounds like that'd cripple them, man.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. But I will say this kind of leads me into a whole nother spiel regarding charters and all that, and that whole topic for another day. But I just think it's going to tie into somehow with that, and especially with the charter talk that's going on and how that's winding down a little bit and how that's going to progress into the next couple seasons or season maybe. But I'm not completely sure. I guess it's one of those things just got to wait and see what happens with Kroger and JGR and JTG.
Yeah, I also did not hear about that. And Kroger's a huge sponsor. I mean, they won Daytona with that sponsor.
Yeah,
didn't they? Yeah, they did. It was on the car.
Yeah, no, it everything you see on the Stenhouse 47 is a result, like, weekly. You see different products that obviously Kroger partners with, but it's a huge activation of different products that all goes through the Kroger grocery store. And I mean, it's pretty much every car, every race, and every season that he's had it is the Kroger stuff. So I think that'd be like if Goodwrench left the 3, or something like that. It'd be just weird in the sense of they gotta come up with a whole new sponsorship model that's nobody's going to do for the 47 car for the entire year like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be like BJ McLeod. Stenhouse is going to be running around.
Oh, shoot. We lost.
Uh-oh.
Well, for those listening, we just lost Thomas there right here at the end. So,
well, guess what? Fox probably just hacked our podcast and dumped Thomas for the last rant he just did on Fox. I didn't know if they were that powerful, Kaleb. What do you think, man?
You're probably right. Fox probably got our cameras and stuff tapped, man. Fox or Alex Bowman won.
Good gracious, man. Thomas, you were making a point, and if you want to get back on, here he comes, man.
He's trying to.
Yeah, he's gonna get there, man. Hang on a sec.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man.
Okay,
Fox hacked in and cut your feed, man.
I know my camera's plugged in. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, hold on. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, he's back.
I don't know what in the world happened.
Fox, man. I told him, I said,
they're warning me.
I said it was either them or Alex Bowman getting to your camera, man.
Yeah. We better not say nothing about Kansas, Kaleb. We'll be next.
I know.
Or I'll say something about it when it come Kansas time. I'll say something else about it. I'm not afraid of Fox, and I'll say what I have to say and let it be known that they need to hear it from somebody, and if that somebody's me, I'm okay with
that. Did you wrap up your thought on the Stenhouse's deal and charter?
Well, I was just gonna say that if they lose Kroger, he's gonna be riding around like BJ McLeod with a blank car and no sponsors.
Man, I hate that.
But then that brings, well, like I said, that'll be another time for another episode. But then that brings up the charters for me, man. So
yeah. And as much as an NC State Wolfpack fan I am, Thomas, I love probably my favorite. If not, James Worthy went to my high school, so he's probably my favorite Tar Heel. But Brad Daugherty's 1A. Black Mountain, North Carolina's own Brad Daugherty. I do not want to see, him not fail, but just have trouble being an owner, man. I just don't love him.
You need to see if you could get NC State to sponsor a car, so then you can get some NC State liquid color diecasts. Those would look pretty clean.
After the run they had, man, both the men's and women's basketball, you might be on the table. They made a ton of money in March, boy. Let me tell you. But anyways, yeah, that's just something I saw right before we clicked on, and I thought, man, this is breaking. I mean, that's pretty big news, man.
Yeah,
it's all rumor at this point. But anyways. All right, boys. Well, I think we've gotten through our outros. We ran a little long. Appreciate y'all bearing with me on the many hiccups in my mind that caused my mouth to say some silly stuff today. But I want to end it with just shouting y'all out, man, because even though I was at the ER last week, y'all did a heck of a job. The two young guns were out there getting it done for episode 16, man, and y'all did a heck of a job, man. I just wanted to shout y'all out for that. But anyway, man, great time. I'm going to go take me some more medicine, and I'm going to continue to be on the road to recovery, man. And Kaleb, you know what you need to do for me. If there was ever a week where you need to help me out, brother, go ahead.
absolutely. Well, from my I wouldn't say drugged up co-host and my hack camera co-host as well, and I guess my sane camera and sane comments this week. We will see you next week, and we'll see you this weekend at Dover. And we appreciate the listeners on Spotify and those that watch on YouTube and interact on Instagram and all those other social medias we got. But if you would, please give us a follow on Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you, and YouTube, of course. And we will see you next Monday for episode 18 of NASCAR Nuts and Bolts Podcast.